At 11:23 p.m., Catherine Reeves clicked on an Ancestry DNA notification. The screen displayed a new match, a half-sister, with a 100% confidence score. The photo showed a polished platinum blonde woman. The name listed Patricia Alden.
That can't be right. Patricia Alden? Robert's wife?
She opened a new email, fingers shaking. She kept it brief. The message read, "Patricia, I think there may be a mistake on Ancestry. We show as a 100% half-sibling match. Could you clarify?" Before she could catch her breath, a reply arrived. One line. Patricia's email consisted of 5 words. "Can we have coffee? I've been waiting 22 years.
22 years. She knew about me all along.
Catherine sat immobile, the cursor blinking on the screen. 30 years of working at that company, and now the CFO's wife was claiming to be her sister.
What does she want after all this time?
Morning came hard. Catherine sat at the kitchen island, coffee cold, her phone face down. Emily bounded in, hoodie and school bag.
Mom, did your Ancestry results come in yet? Mine showed 23% Scandinavian, can you believe it?
Not yet, Em. Sometimes they take a few weeks.
At the office, she buried herself in work until the executive lunch. Patricia Alden sat with Robert, laughing. Catherine's fork paused.
Their eyes met. Patricia nodded once, a small, loaded gesture. No smile. Catherine's stomach dropped.
Catherine slipped to the restroom and typed a text, "Coffee this afternoon?" Before she could lock the screen, her phone buzzed. Patricia calling.
Patricia.
The diner on Elm 430. Thank you for reaching out.
The next hours crawled at 4:10. Catherine shut down her computer and left without a word to anyone. The diner's neon sign flickered. Catherine paused at the entrance, heart hammering, then reached for the handle. Patricia was already seated in a back booth, 2 coffees waiting. She looked up with a calm that shook Catherine more than any outburst could.
Our father was a salesman named Walter Cole. In 1975, he had an affair with your mother. I've known your name since I was 17. He disappeared when my mother found out. I grew up an only child. Then on his deathbed, he left a letter.
She slid a worn envelope across the table. The paper inside read in faded blue ink, "I have another daughter. Her name is Catherine. Her mother was Margaret Rowe."
I didn't believe it. 6 months later, I did a private DNA test. It confirmed a half-sibling match, 99.999%.
Walter Cole. Margaret Rowe. My mother's maiden name was Rowe. She'd never spoken of a salesman.
I've known about you since 2003. 2 decades, Catherine. I've been watching from a distance. I couldn't bring myself to tell you.
You've known me. You've worked in the same building as me for 22 years, and you never said a word.
I was afraid. Afraid of what it would do to you. To my marriage. To the company. I told myself I'd find the right moment. There was never a right moment.
Catherine set down the letter. The diner hummed around them, but she heard only the pounding of her own pulse. 19 years. Patricia's composure cracked. She set her cup down with a clatter that silenced the diner hum.
Knowing wasn't enough, Catherine. I had to make sure you were okay. From the day I found out, I started guiding your career. The CPA program? I sponsored it, the controller role. I told Robert you were ready before anyone else believed it.
The 2007 promotion. The one Robert said I earned after the audit. Patricia's handwriting was on the recommendation form.
She saw the day in her mind, Robert sliding the envelope across his desk, Patricia's approving nod from the doorway.
I never wanted to take anything from you. I only wanted to give, to watch over the sister I couldn't acknowledge.
You made every decision I thought was mine. You didn't just watch, you steered my whole life without my consent.
I know. I was wrong to keep it secret, but I'd do it again, because you deserved the chance, even if you hate me for it.
She left cash beside the cold coffee. The bell on the diner door chimed, and then Catherine was alone. Catherine didn't move. 2 decades of career, of pride, of self-worth, all reframed in the space of a coffee. By 9 o'clock, she sat on her living room floor, a storage box of old personnel files beside her. She pulled out a 2005 performance review. In the margin, Robert had scrawled, "Promotion recommended per Patricia's suggestion."
She suggested it. Even my early promotions weren't truly mine.
She laid out a timeline on the coffee table, each raise, each title change, always after a quiet word from Patricia.
Mom, you've been in here for hours. What are you doing?
Just going through some old work files, Em. Nothing to worry about.
Emily didn't press, but her eyes lingered on the scattered papers before she retreated.
Was anything I did actually mine? The CPA, the controller role, all of it came through her hands.
She found a memo from 2008, the year of layoffs. Robert's note read, "Patricia insists we keep Catherine Reeves. She's vital." The evidence filled her with a toxic mix of gratitude and violation. She had been protected, yes, but she had also been owned. The next evening, Catherine stood in the company parking garage, the 2005 memo folded in her coat pocket. Patricia's car pulled up, windows sliding down.
You wanted to talk? Please, get in.
Catherine slid into the passenger seat and held out the yellowed paper. She watched Patricia's face as she read it.
Per Patricia's suggestion. Did you believe I couldn't succeed on my own?
I saw you in 2003, a single mother working overnight bookkeeping. You were brilliant and exhausted. I couldn't just stand by.
But why not tell me? You let me build a career on a lie.
I was terrified I'd lose the only connection I had. Your career was how I loved you from a distance.
The car fell silent. The orange glow of the parking lights caught the tears on Patricia's cheeks.
I don't know whether to thank you or walk away and never look back.
Patricia didn't answer. The engine idled, and the distance between them felt like a chasm that might never fully close. Catherine arrived at Oakwood Cemetery late afternoon, a bunch of daisies clutched in one hand.
Mom, I found out about Walter Cole, about the affair, and I have a half-sister I never knew. You never once mentioned a man named Walter. For 48 years, I believed I had no father.
She unfolded a photocopy of her 2001 performance review. The typed line read, "Catherine is a standout hire. Sharp and meticulous."
That was 2 years before Patricia ever entered my file. My reputation started on my own. The CPA, the audit saves, the late nights, those were my work. She didn't give me that.
She also held a weathered snapshot of her mother from 1975, smiling at a sales convention booth.
Patricia cleared some doors, but I walked through them alone.
She placed the daisies against the headstone and stood. The evening air felt less heavy. She still didn't know if she could forgive, but the question no longer pressed on her like a weight. Catherine dialed Patricia's number before she lost her nerve, her voice steadier than she felt.
Patricia, can we meet? There are things I need to say in person.
Of course. The cafe on 4th in an hour. I'll be there.
They sat at a small iron table, dappled sunlight filtering through a maple. 2 lattes sat between them, untouched.
I know you wanted to protect me, but the secrecy, it erased my right to know my own story. I need space to figure out my life, without any influence from you. No suggestions, no interventions. Can you give me that?
I understand. I'll step back, I promise.
They agreed not to meet for a while. Patricia's hand trembled as she set down her cup.
For what it's worth, I'm proud of you. I always have been.
Catherine watched her walk away, the untouched latte going cold. The distance between them felt both necessary and cruel. The open-plan office felt contaminated now. Patricia's shadow clung to every glass wall. She saw Robert through a conference room window laughing, and her stomach turned.
Had Robert ever known? Or was he simply Patricia's instrument, as much a pawn as me?
She opened the internal job board, but the screen blurred. There was no clean desk in the whole company.
Every promotion she'd celebrated now felt like Patricia's whisper, not her own triumph.
She stepped into the empty corridor and dialed a friend. Her voice came out low but steady.
I'm leaving, she said. I'll find a place where my career belongs to me.
Later, alone at her desk, she rebuilt her resume with cold facts and hard numbers.
I was good before her. I will be good after her. The rest is my own.
The resolve was cold and irrevocable. She would not stay a single day more than necessary. Alone at home, she plugged in a backup drive she hadn't opened in 6 years, searching for nothing. A forwarded email appeared, 2008 layoffs. Robert typed, Catherine Reeves on first-round cut list. HR needs your sign-off. Patricia's reply, 1 minute later, absolutely not. She's critical. Cut someone else or none at all. I won't sign.
She didn't suggest it. She stonewalled him. My job wasn't just fostered. It was defended.
She cross-referenced the date with board minutes. The layoffs had been canceled after a CFO review.
She saved my job. I never even felt the blade. 20 years, and I had no idea.
She dug further and found a discretionary bonus authorization from Patricia's personal account, routed through the company to avoid suspicion. The anger that had carried her for days simply stalled in its place, grew a thick, unfamiliar gratitude.
She did it to protect me, not to own me. That changes everything, and it changes nothing.
She saved the files and closed the laptop. The decision to leave stood, but now it felt less like escape and more like graduation. By morning, she had opened a blank document and typed a heading that felt like stepping off a ledge. The words on the screen read, Conflict of Interest Disclosure, Undisclosed Biological Half-Sibling Relationship with Spouse of Chief Financial Officer. She picked up her phone and dialed Brenda Cole's direct extension. Her pulse ticked in her throat.
Brenda, it's Catherine Reeves. I need to discuss a personal matter that affects my role. Can we meet this afternoon? Turning myself in. But it's the only way forward that feels clean.
You've been holed up for days. Is something wrong?
Nothing's wrong. I'm just exploring some new career directions. Good things, I hope.
Whatever you decide, I trust you. You've always figured things out.
Catherine returned to her desk, printed the disclosure, and signed it with a pen that didn't shake. She slipped the folder into her bag and checked her reflection. It was time to walk in and be finally herself. Brenda Cole's office smelled of old coffee and policy binders. Catherine sat opposite her, the thin folder a heavy presence on the desk. Catherine slid the signed disclosure across the blotter. Brenda's eyes moved down the page, then stopped.
Catherine, this states Patricia Alden is your biological half-sister and that she indirectly influenced your career path. Is this accurate?
Yes. A DNA test confirmed it recently. Patricia never meant harm, but the reporting structure was compromised without anyone's knowledge.
There's no explicit violation of our policy. Patricia isn't an employee. But ethically, you're right to flag it. Your decision to leave sounds wise.
I plan to resign in the coming weeks. I'd like this meeting sealed until I leave to prevent any unnecessary disruption.
I'll file this under confidential review. It won't be accessed unless you request it. You're handling this with more integrity than anyone could expect.
The disclosure was stamped, time-coded, and slipped into a restricted folder. The drawer closed with a quiet finality.
It's on the record now. No more shadows. No more whispers.
She walked out into the corridor, the glass walls no longer feeling like a cage. 22 years of secrets, now sealed in an HR folder. She started the next morning. A recruiter she trusted from years back took her call immediately. Her resume was rebuilt with metrics, the audit saves, the system migrations, the zero-finding compliance record. No mention of Patricia.
If they want me, it has to be for this, not for any favor.
The first interview at the competitor went like muscle memory. She described her work and watched their faces shift from attentive to impressed. The second interview dug deeper. They asked about her career trajectory. She answered with numbers, not narratives. 4 days later, her phone buzzed with the recruiter's name. She picked up in her kitchen. The recruiter said they were offering a lateral position with a 40% salary increase. They called you the strongest candidate in the pool.
40%. More than I ever made. and it came from a process I controlled alone. I need 24 hours to consider.
The offer letter arrived by email seconds later. She stared at the screen, her heart a steady, loud drum. That night she found Emily in the kitchen, spoon deep in a yogurt cup. The light was soft, the house quiet.
I got the job, Em. The one I'd been hoping for.
That's amazing, but you seem like you're holding something back.
There's something else. That DNA test, it found a half-sister I never knew. Her name is Patricia. She's your new aunt.
Aunt, Mom? That's wild. Are you okay?
Later, alone in the dim living room, Catherine opened the offer letter again. Her finger hovered, then she clicked. Accept. The email confirmation appeared instantly. She had until morning to deliver the news to Robert. She opened a blank document and typed 2 sentences. The resignation was polite, brief, and mentioned nothing of the truth. The printer hummed. She set the crisp page on the counter and looked at it for a long moment. In the mirror before bed, she saw a woman who had seized her own story. Fear lived next to pride, but she could finally sleep. At 9 sharp, Catherine walked into Robert's glass-walled office. The resignation letter was a quiet weight in her palm.
Robert, I'm resigning. My notice is 2 weeks.
Robert unfolded the crisp page and read it twice. The silence stretched, filling every corner of the glass room.
After 22 years, Catherine? Without warning, is something happening I should know about?
Nothing wrong, Robert. A competitor offered me a role I simply couldn't refuse. It's the right time for me.
I see. I wish you'd come to me earlier. But I understand how these things move. You've always been a valuable part of this team.
You were a good mentor. I learned a great deal here. That won't change, whatever comes next.
They shook hands. The contact was formal, brief, like 2 colleagues ending a meeting, not a quarter-century partnership.
He looks wounded. But I can't risk the truth breaking before I'm clear of this place.
She walked out without looking back. Robert sat motionless, the resignation letter stark against the polished desk. Back in her quiet apartment, Catherine opened her email and typed a message she'd been rehearsing for hours. The email read, "Patricia, I've resigned and taken a role at a competitor. I did it on my own. We should talk when the dust settles." Before Catherine could set down her phone, the screen lit up, Patricia calling.
Catherine? I read your email. Are you okay?
I'm fine. I did it my way, Patricia. No one's help.
I know I'm proud of you, sister. More than you can imagine.
The word sister landed like a key turning. Catherine's throat tightened.
Thank you. We'll talk soon. I promise.
She hung up and let the tears trace her cheeks, but this time they didn't taste like loss. Somewhere across town, Patricia held her phone to her chest and wept in a way she hadn't in 22 years. Catherine packed her nameplate and the small plant into a cardboard box. The cubicle walls were bare, her computer dark. A coworker waved down the aisle. Catherine returned the gesture, a tired but genuine smile crossing her face. She passed the CFO suite. Through the glass, Robert's leather chair sat empty. She didn't slow.
22 years. I walked in as a single mother, and I'm walking out as myself.
The revolving door pushed her into the cool dusk. The box was light in her arms, but her heart felt impossibly heavy. She drove to the diner on Elm out of compulsion. Patricia's silver sedan sat in the same parking space as before. Catherine cut the engine. Through the windshield, Patricia sat motionless, hands on the wheel, as if waiting. Neither woman got out. Catherine gave a single, solemn nod. Patricia pressed her palm to the window, then started the engine.
She came. Not to speak. Just to see me one last time. Both of us letting each other go.
The taillights vanished into dusk. Catherine sat beneath the humming neon until the weight eased, then drove home. Her heels clicked on polished concrete as she entered the competitor's glass tower. The lobby smelled of new carpet and possibility. Orientation was a blur of handshakes. She set up her desk with a photo of Emily and the plant she'd carried out of her old life.
No one here knows Patricia. No one here wonders who opened the door. I did.
At noon, she called Emily from the break room, voice bright.
It's better than I expected. The team is sharp. I already feel like I belong.
Before leaving, she updated her LinkedIn. The notification read, Catherine Reeves started a new position as senior controller at
22 years, and now a new title with a 40% raise earned entirely on my own.
She drove home, changed into soft clothes, and poured a glass of Chardonnay. She stepped onto her apartment balcony, the city lights blinking to life. She raised her glass to the darkening sky, a silent toast to the woman she'd been and the one she'd become. One crisp Saturday, Catherine arrived at the cafe first. She'd been meeting Patricia every 2 weeks now, each time peeling back another layer of the 40-year silence.
I found a box in the attic. Our father's letters, some photos too.
She spread them across the table like fragile evidence. A man with Catherine's hazel eyes grinned up from the past.
I've seen that smile in the mirror. Tell me something good about him, something I can keep.
He once drove 3 hours to watch my school play, even though my mother didn't know he was there. He stood in the back, and he saw me.
He was a ghost in my house. My mother's silence was a locked room. Now I have a key.
They laughed over childhood mishaps, and the laughter startled them both.
Next coffee, bring Emily. I'd like to meet her officially.
Catherine reached across and squeezed Patricia's hand. The gesture said what words couldn't. That evening, the fire crackled low in the study. Robert set his scotch on the side table. Patricia watched the ice settle.
Robert, Catherine Reeves is my biological half-sister. I found out 19 years ago and I never told you.
She handed him the tablet. The screen displayed an ancestry DNA match, 100% half-sibling Catherine Reeves.
19 years? And you managed her career? Used my office? All while I sat here blind.
I pushed for her promotions. I sponsored her CPA. I thought if I could give her a good life from the shadows, I wouldn't lose either of you.
She pulled a worn photograph from her pocket, a young man with Catherine's hazel eyes. She placed it beside the tablet.
You kept her like a secret account, Patricia. Every promotion I signed, every raise, all of it was your hidden project.
I was terrified of losing you, of ruining her life, of never knowing my own sister. I made terrible choices.
The clock on the mantel ticked. Robert lifted the photograph to the firelight, then set it down with a trembling hand. The anger drained from his face, replaced by a blank, painful quiet. He didn't speak, and Patricia didn't dare move. A week later, Catherine brought Emily to the cafe. Patricia stood, and for a moment, simply looked at the girl.
You're my aunt. That's so weird. In a cool way.
Can I show you photos of your grandfather? He had your grin.
That night, they ate dinner at Catherine's. The table was loud for the first time in years. 2 days later, an unfamiliar number lit her phone. Robert's voice was stiff but honest.
Catherine, I know the truth now. Patricia told me everything. I'm not sure what to feel, but you handled your exit with class.
Thank you, Robert. I never wanted to cause harm.
The next month's coffee stretched into a walk through the park.
There's a lake house our father used to rent. Would you come with me this spring?
Catherine nodded, and the silence that followed wasn't heavy. It was simply theirs. A year later, Catherine stood on her balcony before sunrise. The coffee mug warmed her hands, the city lights still blinking below. She'd learned to live with the impossible, a half-sister who hid for 40 years, then gave her back a family.
Patricia should be waking up about now. Somewhere across town, she's probably doing the same.
The DNA test was a shock, but the real gift was the sister who watched from the shadows, waiting for the right moment. She didn't have to forgive to move forward. She only had to accept the complicated truth.
I built a career on my own terms, and I found a sister I never knew I needed.
She raised her mug to the sun, a silent toast to the woman she'd been and the one she'd become, both of them real. Somewhere across town, Patricia Alden was likely staring out her own window, feeling the same peaceful weight. The secret was out. The story was hers, and the morning was wide open.